Hmm. Okay. I think we're live on YouTube now. All right. Hello, good evening, everyone on this call. If you're joining us from, I don't know, I can't see YouTube yet to know how many people are currently on YouTube. Or maybe I'll have to check. Uh, but yeah, good evening, everyone that is on this call currently on YouTube and on Zoom. You're welcome to our upgrade webinar. I'm trying to see those who are on YouTube right now, so we can also ensure that they are part of us. Can you hear me? Please let me confirm that you can hear me clearly.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So I'm just trying to find out those who are currently with us on YouTube. Let me turn on my camera. So love, can you turn on your camera? Or let me introduce you first. Then you can do that. But if you can't now, you can please turn on your camera. Let me turn mine on.
Okay. My camera is on. But it's
Okay.
just been shown black. That's why I had to leave before. Couldn't for the
See it.
life of me figure out. But does it show my camera on?
Yeah, it's showing that your camera is on.
Wow. Uh, I know we're starting now. Do I leave and
Yeah.
join again?
Oh yeah, sure.
Or okay.
Okay. Oh, so sorry about that. So we want to see our guest speaker's face, and she's having a little bit of network issue, so she'll join us back soon. She'll be joining us back in a moment. So we'll just give her some minutes to join us back so that we can see her face, so
Okay,
we can
okay,
see her.
okay, fine. Let's just get into some conversations before she joins us. I don't know how many
Okay.
people are online
Yes,
now.
yes, yes. All
Yeah,
right, so
so
okay, go ahead.
yeah, okay. So I was just thinking, let's just talk about the challenge that is going on, the LinkedIn Visibility Challenge, and how has it been? For those that are participating, how has it been? So coming from your end, Esther, how has it been? What's the participation like? What's the feedback you're getting? Are people getting responsive? Because I don't think some of the participants are here, so you and I can talk about it. So what do you think has been going on?
Okay, good. So for the LinkedIn challenge, it's actually been really awesome. I've been seeing everybody's post on LinkedIn, and I've also been engaging with people's posts while making my own post as well. I've seen that for the past 1 week. So for me, on my own end, I've been getting a lot of people viewing my profile and people connecting with me. And also, checking out what I've written and responding to it. So it's been good. And I've checked others who are also participants of the LinkedIn challenge, and I see that they are getting more visibility, and everybody is, engaging with each other's posts, commenting, and it's helping them also to one thing I've noticed is that most of them are now even more open to, putting out their work out there. For some of them who have been very, very dormant on LinkedIn, right right now, aside from the posts they make every day for the challenge, they now, make other posts talking about stuff that they are doing, maybe their work or something that they just observed. So for me, I feel like it's building confidence and helping a lot of people to actually they now understand what it means to show up online, and they are putting in the work and doing really great. So yeah, that's my own feedback from that.
Sorry. That's actually beautiful because I also observed. So part of the things I found out was the fact that some of our community members, exactly just what you say, that had not been showing up online, started showing up. And I can see the excitement because not just showing up, they are also sharing their own story.
Yes.
Some it's like I'm meeting them for the first time all over again. So sharing your story gives you the confidence, the authenticity to talk about what you do. So, and I'm excited for every single one of them because I still saw someone got an offer right in the
Mhm.
comment section. Yes, I saw
Wow.
that. Yeah. So someone got an offer, and as little as even a volunteer offer expands your experience. And
Yes.
also, volunteer offers also give you the chance to start breaking into places that you're not familiar with, doing things that you're just coming up with and new things. So that visibility challenge is not just to show up and make posts and create content. But at
Yes.
the end of the day, it helps someone to keep track of what you're doing. So if someone comes in the next 2 years and say, who is this lady? I've been seeing all the things she's doing. They can get your track record and even have a recall of your starting story. You understand? And some of them are sharing experiences I never knew they had. And it's just like this person took this one boot camp, but you don't know the person had volunteered, had done a lot of things while getting to that point of finishing this boot camp. And some of them are multi-skilled, multi-talented.
Yes.
Some are doing you think someone is just a virtual assistant or digital marketing, and you find out the person took a course in cybersecurity one time, data analytics. So I'm proud of the fact that they are putting in the efforts and they are not slowing down. I
Yes.
noticed that even when they maintain the time, even when the community, the group, the virtual group is not open for them to drop their links, I noticed they still make their post at the right time. So
Yeah.
waiting for the right time to share and support each other. I really, really love that because I know that relationships will be built, collaborations will start, and many other things can spin off from that venture. Okay, so
Mhm.
if only I have those that are here to give us their feedback. We will maybe probably towards the end of this live session, we'll hear from them. Then another part of it is that do we have a winner for the week? Last week we had a winner, the best participant.
Yes. I feel
So
like
we
everybody brought in their A game this
we
week.
did.
So, but I'm going to still, find a way to see
So it's
who
a
is going
tough,
to
it's a
emerge.
tough, it's a tough one this week, right?
Yes, it's
I can
tougher this week.
imagine. I can imagine.
It's
How do
tougher
you?
this week.
We'll find a way. We'll find a way
Yes, we'll definitely
uh,
find a way.
to find out who is the winner for
Yeah.
the. Okay. Okay, that's amazing. So with that, I think I should go backwards again and let you guys have fun. Thank you. So,
Okay.
okay, I don't know, Love, do you still have a technical setup to fix or are we good to go?
Yes, we are.
Okay, great. So
All
if
right.
if the lighting is an issue, we can do without it.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's fine now.
Oh, it's
Oh,
my uh the overhead light at my table is the issue. Kept
okay, it's
going
on
on
the
and off. Yeah.
table.
Yes.
Okay, at least we can see you now. This is fine. This is
Yeah.
fine. For anything that will like distract your flow, just let it go so we can have fun. Thank you very much.
Of course. Thank you.
Yes. All right. Thank you very much, love. Welcome back. So, very quickly, let me just, so if you're just joining us on this webinar for the first time, welcome. This is the Shimej community, Shimej tribe, also known as the Shimej tribe. Shimej is in full, she emerges with Innovation Women Empowerment Foundation, aka She Emerge, and we are a non-governmental organization. Um, we are dedicated to empowering, women with tech skills. We empower women with tech skills, digital skills, and resources for them to be able to earn, as most especially mothers, young moms, and women in general. So that's our focus, helping them to both those who probably left career because of marriage or relocation or childbearing. We're trying to help them and reintegrate them back into the work system through giving them access to tech skills, tech opportunities that allows them to work remotely from their house and also be able to, manage their family while doing all of that. So that is what Shimerge is about. So if you're just joining us or you're just hearing about Shimerge for the first time, this is who we are, this is what we stand for, and we're these upgrade webinars are ways to there are also ways that we've come up with to help the women in our community, the She Image community, to be able to have access to information. So we started in April for this quarter, and we've had webinars twice in April, and then this is the third webinar that we are having in the month of May. We'll also be having more webinars in the month of June to give people access to the knowledge about so many things that they don't know out there as it pertains to, helping them to make use of the resources that they need to be better in their ventures. So for today, we have our speaker here, our guests, and I'm just going to be introducing her by reading her bio, and then she can come up and also introduce herself, and the session will start. So love, most of our audience are on YouTube. So that's why you're not seeing them on Zoom. We're streaming on YouTube. So they are on YouTube. So I'm also checking YouTube to see their feedback and all, and then give it to you.
Okay.
Like, yes. All right. So let me just talk about our guest speaker tonight. We have our guest speaker here. Her name is Love Imahe. She's a content and research manager at B4B Partners, where she leads the creation of helpful resources, training content, and strategy documents for founders, sales teams, and social impact leaders. She also supports key projects like the Luminary Project, the foundation arm of B4B Partners, which celebrates change makers and social enterprises doing good in their communities. She has a strong interest in storytelling, community building, and African innovation. Love enjoys turning ideas into action, whether it's through designing a sales workbook, planning a challenge series, or helping nonprofits to get started. Her work sits at the intersection of content, strategy, and purpose. And today we have her here to speak to us as a community about designing winning pitch decks, assessing grants, and investment. So, Love, you're welcome to the Shimed community. We are so glad to have you here. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
accepting our invite to come and impact us with knowledge. We really appreciate you. Thank you. So I'm going to pull my mic off now, and Love can take over.
Okay, thank you so much, Esther. It's good to be here. I will just go into the session. If you could just help me pull up the slides so that we see what we're doing today. Okay, so hello everyone. While that's coming up, my name is Love Imahe. Esther has already read my entire life, so I will not do that again. So this evening, we'll be looking at deal rooms, right? Pitch decks, grants, and investors. I did it this way because deal rooms are the where, pitch decks are the how, grants are the what, and investors are the who. So, okay, I know we're all on YouTube, but if we could, in the comment section, just type welcome in your language. I just want everybody to, welcome somebody, welcome each other. Next slide. Say welcome in your language. I think here we have Hausa, Igbo, English, Yoruba, Swahili, I think Zulu, and French. So I'd like to know where, okay, Esther can check for me where everyone is dialing in from. So just say welcome. Okay. in my language is Obokia. It's not here, but I'm representing. So, okay. I'm assuming we are, so I'll just move forward. Next slide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So again, this is me. I've worked across these companies doing different things, from content research to technical assistance on grants to managing programs in foundations, and so on and so forth. To writing pitch decks like I did for Cosmetic Chef and Segnivo, and so on and so forth. I'm currently with B4B Partners and the Luminary Project, which is a subsidiary under B4B Partners, and I'm still here. Right. So I put in an icebreaker, but I don't think I'll be able to see. We will be able to do this icebreaker. It needs voting. Esther, will you be able to tell me who the highest score? Next slide.
Okay,
Yeah.
if I move from here now, so I'm going to go to YouTube. It will be showing YouTube. So Frances, can you help
Okay.
us with that? Maybe check the comments for people who are dropping their comments.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So it's a very simple icebreaker. Choose your favorite, jollof or fried, A or B. So if it's jollof, just vote A. If it's fried, just vote B. I'm really hoping jollof wins because it's jollof for me. If you vote fried rice, you're not. I'm not sure you're a proper Nigerian. But, do we have the votes coming in? Just A or B? Just A, B, A, B, or both? I mean, who says we have to choose? Okay, there is another icebreaker on the next slide. Do we have results from this one, first of all? Okay, we're at the next one. So to pound yam, do you prefer the ancient mortar and pestle or the yam pounder? I prefer A personally. I don't know. I feel like the food is sweeter. Oh, no votes yet. Okay.
Okay, no, but yeah. Okay, there's one
B.
vote. B.
B is for the yam pounder. Okay. Well, I mean, that's good, but I prefer A. And once the sweat and everything is inside, it just makes the yam sweet. Okay, I guess we can
Interesting.
move. Yes. All right, so into the business of the day. I think the next slide is the agenda. We'll be looking at, like I said at the beginning, deal rooms, which are the where, pitch decks, which is the how, grants, which is the what, and investors, which is the who. All right, so imagine this, right? You own next slide. You own a market stall, you own a kiosk, you own a shop at a market. Your deal room is that shop or that kiosk or that market stall. So that's the where, that's the place. Where is your market situated? So you say shop to be this and this and that, right? Then your pitch deck is how you present your goods, what you're selling, if it's fruits, if it's food, clothes, whatever it is how you present it. You don't just scatter your wares on the floor, right? As we see in the picture here, the fruits are arranged, together. Apples are in one place, cherries are in one place, cucumbers are in one place. It's not all mixed together. That's the what do you want from this customer? Money, of course. So that's the mind frame I want us to go into this session with, because that's what it will revolve around: the where, how, who, and what. Next slide. Right. So now let's start with where, which is your deal room. So a deal room is where negotiations happen. Next slide. Really, a deal room is where that's, like I said, your own kiosk, your own shop where investors come to buy what you sell, right? That's where you speak. And a deal room is not necessarily a formal place. It's not compulsory. It's in an office or in one stock up place. A deal room can be on the street. A deal room can be in your home. A deal room can be on your way to work. A deal room is anywhere you are met with a potential investor and you have to sell what you do. Okay, why you need your deal room is because it keeps you honest. Okay, the more you talk about what you do, the better it is for you, the better you are able to articulate it to the next person. Okay, if you've never talked about your business before, it's different from if you've been talking about it for years, right? So that's why you need one. It organizes you as a business, everything in one place in your head, makes it easy um for you to speak at any point in time. Right? Next slide. So that's the where. And again, it doesn't have to happen in an office. So now how do you present what you sell? How do you present your offering? That's what a pitch deck is for. Next slide. Now, a pitch deck is your startup story and your business plan in one single package. So that is, a pitch deck is a visual representation of what your business is, what it does, and what it will do, right? Nobody wants to invest in a business that's only going to be open for 5 years and then it will close. So it is what it is now, uh, what it will do, right? So it's your story and your business plan in one package. We have stats that tell us that well-structured pitch decks are 3 times more likely to secure funding, and investors spend an average of just 3 minutes 44 seconds reviewing your deck. So nobody is going to read 200 pages, right? I always say that a pitch deck should be not less than 12 slides. I mean, not more than 12 slides, right? Anything more than 12 slides. If it's too much, 15, but not more than 12. Say what you want to say very quickly, because these people, they review a lot. They are not going to spend all that time on your slide. So a pitch deck is brief, but pretty. Okay, it's meant to capture attention, right? So that's what a pitch deck is, and that's why it matters. It is your how. How do you present yourself? And a pitch deck captures all that in a very summarized manner, right? So it's a story and a business plan at the same time. Next slide. So now what we want to think is, what's the one thing that you want investors to remember about your startup? That is the goal of your pitch deck. So when they finish looking at your 12, 15 slides, what is the one thing you want them to leave with? So that when they remember your business and they're like, oh, this is what they are, or this is what they do, or this is how I feel, right? You want to leave them with a feeling, not just plenty numbers or plenty English, or they've looked through so many slides, they can't even remember, what they just looked at. So this is the thoughts you go into when you're creating your pitch deck. Next slide. Right. Okay, so now we said a pitch deck is both your startup story and your business plan. So if anyone here is accustomed to a business plan, you know that a business plan is a lot of words and numbers, right? You could have on a doc, your business plan could be running up to 15, 20 pages, right? But a story is a story. So a pitch deck is a very, very fine combination of stories and stats, because facts tell, but stories sell. So while investors are interested in numbers, yes, they're also interested in your person, your passion, your purpose, why you are in business. As much as they want to know, oh, can this business make money? They also want to know why you are here. So why did you decide to start this? Were you hungry, or did you actually have a purpose for this? Right? So a pitch deck merges both. So you tell the story and the start, right? So it is numbers versus narrative. So if it's the example that's in the slide, if it's just numbers, you could say, oh, we have 2,000 app downloads, right? Oh, we have 500,000 customers. That's great for an investor, but what story does that tell? So your 2,000 app downloads could be 2,000 women across Lagos and Abuja who have been able to maximize productivity because of your app. That's a story. Okay. So in the 2,000 downloads, or in the 500,000 customers, what is the impact that those people have had? Right? Because business is about value, not just value in numbers, but value that you're creating for people. The fact that people are paying you means that they are getting value from your product. If your app or your product or service is not helping me do what you said it will do, I will not come back next time, right? So numbers and narratives. However, there is a place for numbers, which leads us to the next slide on your components of a pitch deck. So these 10, I think, 10 sections. Next slide. These 10 sections are what your pitch deck should typically contain. You can add other things, but I would usually stick to these 10 sections. So the first one is the problem. A pitch deck always starts with the problem. What problem are you solving? Why are you here? Why are you here? Okay, your problem is during COVID, you discovered that nobody was going to school. So you made an app that can teach students at home. That's the problem. So the problem you're solving is lack of, access to education because of, a viral disease, right? So you state the problem, but you say it, you story tell it. You don't just say, people are not going to school, so what pain point are you solving? Make it real and relatable. And then the next section is the solution. So after you state the problem, solution is the next thing. How are you solving the problem? So your solution is your product, your service, what you're doing. How is it solving that problem you just said, you just stated? Then the next is market opportunity. This one is a bit confusing for some people because it's numbers, right? So when you're creating, I'll just summarize. When you're creating a pitch deck, you should find out the market opportunity. There are 3 sections to find out. I like to say it because it rhymes. Tam, Sam, and some. Tam, Sam, some. Right? There's total addressable market, serviceable addressable market, and serviceable obtainable market. What all this big grammar means is that for your market opportunity, let's say you are a fashion designer. What TAM is asking you, total addressable market, is how big is the fashion industry globally? That's what it's asking you. That's all. How much is it worth? So you need to find that out. Simple research will tell you. I think even ChatGPT will tell you, right? How big is that industry globally, worldwide? That's number one. The next stage is how big is it in your country where you are? So that's Nigeria. That's SAM, serviceable, addressable markets. That's the meaning of that big word, right? How big is it in your country? Then the last one is how big is it in the niche you want to pursue? So inside that global market, there is a Nigerian market. Inside the Nigerian market, there is your niche. If you're a fashion designer and you are your niche is children's clothes, that's what you sell. That's your niche. So how big is the children's market, the children's fashion market in the Nigerian fashion industry, right? That's your sum. So you need to find the numbers for all that. What that does is it tells investors that there's money here. That's what it does, right? That's what it tells them. So because if there's no market opportunity, then why are you going into business? There's no point. There's no money there. Leave it. Find something else, right? The next section is business model. That one means how do you make money? So are you going to sell clothes on credit and collect your money at the end of the month? Are customers going to pay you upfront at the beginning of the month and then they are entitled to 10 items of clothing? How do you make money? Is it one-off payment? That is, I give you cloth, you give me money. Is it subscriptions? Is it commissions? How do you make money? Do you commission tailors? They make the clothes, you sell, you get a commission. How do you make money? You need to state that in your pitch deck. Then traction is what have you done so far? How much have you made? Okay, since you started this business 5 years ago, how much have you made? How many people have bought? Right? So you need to state that as well. So how many, that's users or customers, how many customers, how many people have bought, how much have you made, who has partnered with you, who have you done this with, how many shops do you have, are you still just in Lagos or you're in Abuja, or even if it's in Lagos, are you in Egbeda and Yanopaja? You need to show growth. That's what traction is for. So no matter how small, it needs to be there, right? The next section is team. Who's doing this with you? Right? Is it just you? It can't be just you. Who's your supplier? Who's your assistant? Who's doing this with you? So you need to highlight that as well. If you're CEO, COO, CTO, CMO, all the, everyone, your designer, it doesn't matter how small or big your team is, state it there. Key people, not the whole team, just key people. Then your go-to-market strategy is how will you reach customers, right? So your channels, that is, how do you do your supply, right? Who sells for you? Do you use ads? Do you go to the market yourself to buy the goods? So you need to state that there as well. What is your go-to-market strategy? How do you reach and win customers? The next is competitive landscape. That is, who else is in this market with you? Yeah, of course, you are not going to be the only fashion designer. You're not going to be the only baker. Who else? So you need to know who your competition is and state it to your investors. It's not like they don't know. They just want to know if you've done your homework, right? And then when you are, it's not just about listing your competitors that I'm dragging with Vicky James. I'm also dragging. No, is what is your competitive advantage as well. So what makes you better than Vicky James? It could just be one thing. It's not. It doesn't have to be in every area. It may be I deliver faster than she does. That might be it, right? So you also need to show that as well. The next is financials. Of course, this is where the numbers also come in. What are your projected numbers? How much have you made now? How much do you think you will make in the next 5 years if you get the money you are asking for? What is your runway? Runway means how much money do you need to sustain yourself over a given period of time? So if your runway is 1 million for a year, it means if it comes to the worst case scenario and I have 1 million naira left, I will survive for a year. That's runway. You need to state all that as well. Revenue, expenses. How much do you use in acquiring customers? If you're selling something at 100 naira, but you are using 120 to acquire a customer, you're operating at a loss already. Because by the time you spend 120 in acquiring a customer, then they come and pay you 100 naira. That's you're not making anything, right? So you need to state all that as well. Then the last part is your ask and the use of funds. So how much are you asking for? Okay, we are asking for $100,000. This is what we're going to use it to do. We're going to hire. We're going to buy new machines. We're going to buy laptops for our staff. We're going to, they need to see where the money will go if they give it to you. All right. So this is a pitch deck. Right. So then I think common pitfalls to avoid is next slide. Talking too much, saying too much and too little at the same time. Can we please go to the next slide? So those are some mistakes you should avoid. Another one is hiding the weaknesses. They will find out. So if you make your pitch deck all rosy and you don't include where you're actually having challenges, they will still find out. So that's something you should avoid. Then speaking without passion, just dishing numbers, numbers, numbers. Even if you've made all the money, right? The investors can tell when there's no passion. Then asking for money without a plan. They say, what do you want to use it for? You say, just give me money now. I need the money. No. Then flimsy or no traction. Do not attempt a pitch deck or do not attempt to look for investments if you do not have traction. You need to have started selling yourself. Selling organically means that your idea or your product is viable. It means people actually want it. If you can't sell by yourself, then something is wrong somewhere. So you need to have some form of traction before creating a pitch deck and pitching. Then lastly, reading your slides word for word, right? It shows you didn't prepare. You should be able to speak without your pitch deck. It shows that you have the story at heart. This is your business. This is your thing. You can say it with your eyes closed, right? So now I think the next part is what. What do you want? Next slide. What do you want from investors, right? What do you want? And that's grants, free money. Next slide. That's what we want. That's why we're here, right? Next slide. So at this point, I will very quickly differentiate between the types of funding that we have, right? We are going to focus solely on grants, and grants in simple English is free money. But there are different types of funding. We know of bootstrapping, which is financing your business by yourself from your own pocket. There are banks and their loans. We'll not even look at that side. There are investor funds as well. So the major types are usually grants loans, and investor funds. So investor funds include from angel investors, from VCs, and from corporate. So angel investors mean they give you free money with no or very little equity. Equity means they take a percentage of your company. That's what it means. They become major shareholders in your company. They take small. So, but we will not focus on that today. We'll be focusing on grants. How do you get this money that comes without strings, right? The money that they give you and they'll just go. Nobody's expecting interest. Nobody's expecting profit in the next 5 years. How do we get that money? That's what we'll focus on. But in case you're interested, there are other types of investors that will give you money and take a bit of equity and expect profit in a defined period of time. So some will say, okay, those ones are investors. So for difference, we're just going to call the ones for grant givers, right? But they are investors who, when they invest in you, it means they want something back. They want profits, right? So they give you money. They say in 5 years, I must collect 5 times what I've given you. That's what they do. But we're going to move on and stay with grants. So now, a deep dive into grants. Next slide. Grants, like we said, free money. There's no equity. Grants are given by organizations. I call them do-good organizations. NGOs, foundations, or the government, or some corporates as a form of CSR. So corporate social responsibility. Some corporates have foundations. We have the MTN Foundation. Yes, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. They have money that they set aside to give out to companies, startups as grants. So the good thing is there's no repayments, there's no equity. It's great for if you're just starting out. Some will even give you grants for ideas. You've not started anything, you just have a great idea, they'll give you money. And so on and so forth. So that's the good thing about grants. The only con for grants is that they are very, very competitive. Very competitive. That's why grant writing is a big deal, right? Next slide. Grant writing is a big deal because you need to write and write. And you can write 100 grants and get one. That's how competitive they are. All right. So, like we said earlier, grants are given by the government, local and international institutions, corporate organizations. We discussed the pros and cons as well. And I listed out some tips for accessing grants. Number one, research your industry. What that means is there are certain organizations that only give to certain types of people, right? There are organizations that only give to tech. Some even say women in tech. That is must be a woman founder and have a tech startup. That's it. So if you are into fashion, unless you are fashion tech, or if you're into something else and you go and apply, of course you're not going to get because you're not their target audience. So research your industry, find out who is giving grants in your industry first, and then build a grant directory. What this is a simple sheet, Excel sheet, where you will just write everybody that can give you grants. So once you've done your research, this person is giving grants in my line of work, you list everybody out. You also list the description, dates, deadlines, everything about that grant to help you prepare, right? Deadlines are very important so that you not start writing grants and discover that the deadline has passed. Then start your grant doc. So grant document, your actual grant document. So all that gist, why should they give you money? All that, start writing. Then I always say apply the P3 principle: patience, persistence, and prayer. Patience is you'll be patient because again they are very competitive. You miss a lot more than you get, right? Which is why you have to be persistent. Keep writing, get better at writing. ChatGPT is there to help you. You can write a grant, put it in ChatGPT, and ask it to tell you the gaps. You can literally say, see this grant I wrote. What are the gaps? How can I write it better? Oh, yeah, rewrite it. Is what? I'm sorry, was that a question or?
No, 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 no. Nkechi, can you mute yourself, please? Yeah, we can hear you. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Please go ahead.
Okay. All right. So yes, you miss a lot more than you get. So that's why you have to keep writing, and then prayer, because I have nothing against a divine touch, right? If you can't do, because grant is a lot of work, there's a lot of research that goes into it. You have to tailor each grant to who is giving it. There's a general approach to writing grants, yes, but there's also a very specific approach. You have to look at what the grantor is asking for. So it takes a lot of work. If you can't do that and you have a bit of cash, you can hire a grant writer. And then lastly, keep applying. Like I said, the more you write, the better your chances, right? Okay, next slide. So now that we know that, why this matters, I don't even think I need to flog this. I think women today have more opportunities have been coming up for women in tech when it comes to grant writing and venture, grant getting, grant receiving, and venture funding globally. I think the world is now interested in what women can do. So we are at an advantage, actually. So you should pitch yourself out there. You should go after grants and not be discouraged, because like it's angled in our favor, right? Uh because of the nature of this next slide, because of the nature of this webinar, I'm just going to leave this for us to ponder privately. So if you receive a 5 million grant tomorrow or today, because the day has not ended, what's the first thing you invest in? So just, maybe it should spur you into writing your first grant. But yeah, if you receive 5 million today, where would it go in your business? Right? All right. So the last section we've talked about where, the deal room, we've talked about how, the pitch deck, we've talked about what, the grant. So now who is going to give you these grants? Investors. I've said that investors is a tricky word because investors means different types: angel, VC, corporate. But we are focused on grant givers, people that will give you free money. So as much as they are giving you free money, there are also things that they look for, right? They are not just handing out money to anybody, right? There are things that they want to see, even if they are not going to take an interest or profit. So they want to see clear problem solving. That is, if you're actually solving a real problem, right? You're actually doing something worthwhile that has impact, right? An innovative, scalable solution. Scalable means, would the business die after you're gone, or is it something that can remain even? I mean, everybody knows Coca-Cola. I can't even remember the year Coca-Cola started, right? So is this something that will remain long after you're gone? Then traction, of course. I said no matter how small, you sold to 10 people. Those 10 people, they're your family members. That's great. It shows, but you need to find some people other than your family members, sha. But traction is any traction is always great. They want to also see a strong, committed team. You need to have people working with you. It shows that there are other people besides yourself who believe in the vision, so that you're not all in your head. It's not just you that is chasing you, right? They also want to see a realistic use of funds. Um, where will the money go? It shows that you have a plan. You're not just looking for money. We've heard of some founders, some startup founders who received funding, and the first thing they did was to travel out or buy a new car. And we are like, is this why you collected funding? But anyway, so they need to see where the money will go. They also want to see social or economic impact, right? Yes, you're making money. People are buying what you're selling, but that product or service, what is it doing in the lives of people? Then finally, compliance and accountability. You've done your homework. You are registered. You can't stand in front of an investor and they ask you, do you have CAC? You're like, what is CAC? The church, So you need to have done your own homework. You need to have your accounts in order. They say, okay, show me your financial statement. They're like, we've not been able to hire an accountant. No. Everything needs to be in place. So that's what investors look for. You need to be ready before you ever stand in front of an investor, right? Next slide, please. Okay, so with investors, the question they always ask anytime they're looking at a potential startup is this the right team, solving the right problem at the right time with the potential to grow, right? That's what they're always asking. Right team, right problem, right time with the potential to grow. Because it could be the right team, right problem, right time, but they will solve the problem in under 2 years, and that will be the end of the business. So that's the question they're always asking. And you need to make sure that you can say yes to this question yourself before you stand in front of the investor. Okay, next slide. Now, what to expect in a deal room meeting is the next slide. What should you expect? So, like I said earlier, a deal room meeting is not always in an office or in a formal setting. It could be anywhere. So what you expect when you're in front of somebody who you think can give you money? What should you be prepared for? So this is it. So, right, which is where you present your story. Sometimes it might be a deck, it might not. That's why you shouldn't always rely on your slides. You should have your story in your head. So you present your deck, your story, in summary, 5 to 10 minutes, not long talks. And then they will ask you some questions, of course, about numbers, usually, team, growth, and then they might ask for follow-up. So you hear something like, oh, let's schedule a meet, right? That's what you hear. So this is what to expect. These four things. Next slide. Right. I don't think it needs to be said that you should always appear confident and authentic. Right. Again, it's your business. Nobody forced you. There, you started because you believed in something. So know your numbers. Know your numbers. How many customers? How much have you made? What's the cost of acquisition? How much do you need? Then practice your story again so that you don't rely on slides, right? Practice speaking about your startup all the time. You can practice with a family member, you can practice with a friend, right? Be honest. If you don't know the answer, say so. If you need help, say so. You might never know who has the resources that you need, right? Mentorship is everywhere, right? And investors actually prefer you being honest over you saying something that you don't know about. Then own your journey. Talk about what made you start that business. How does it connect to you? We've had people that started businesses because of a personal tragedy, right? So make it connect. And of course, dress how you want to be addressed. Right. So now, what's your power pitch? That's the next slide. Your power pitch, you might know it as an elevator pitch, but I like to call it a power pitch because it's not every time we are in the elevator. I know it's just a phrase, but what's your power pitch? 10 seconds. This is the formula. I'm building dash, the solution for dash to solve dash, and we've already dash. So I'm building what for who to solve what, and we've already started doing this and this and that. 10 seconds. That's what you need to know. And we have an example here. For example, I'm building a WhatsApp power tool. That's the solution that helps who rural moms in Nigeria do what? Track pregnancy and access health support. We've already reached 1,000 women. Blah blah. That's it. That's the end. 10 seconds. You're done. So it communicates everything the person needs to know. Now, finally, I think we're going to talk about community because there's no sense in building on your own. I mean, that's what she emerges for, right? It's a community. You're already in the right place. So you're already surrounded by people who are ready to help you, right? They organize webinars, attend. They organize if it's classes, attend. And whatever it is, mentorship programs, attend. Network programs, attend. You will never know. I was told by a colleague that you are, how was it put? You are two people away from whoever you want to know. Like if I want to meet Dangote, I know somebody that knows him. So that's how community works, right? You need to build together. Building something is tough. So you need whatever you can get, emotional support, accountability, motivation, whatever you need, right? But I will say this, that as much as you try to network and seek mentors, I always believe in offering value before asking. So it could be as simple as sharing their post, right? So if you have your eyes on someone, for example, let's say the great uh NOI Ngozi Okonji Iweala, right? You don't just go to her on LinkedIn and say, "Ah, ma, I would like you to mentor me." No, I mean, yeah, she might say yes. I don't know, but you could start with interacting with her posts on LinkedIn, for example. You comment, you applaud, you say, "Oh, I like this." Try to build some form of, so that when you finally ask, she's not like, "Who's this? From where?" you know Try to build. You can follow people that follow her, or follow people that she follows, and try to offer value. Find a way to, you might be asking yourself, what kind of value can I offer to a whole Ngozi? But you never know. So try and offer value before asking, right? You could start with, "Oh, I recently shared your post, and somebody came back to me with a feedback that it helped them, it blessed them, blah blah blah. I would like to, be able to do what you do. Is there a way you can? Are there any mentorship programs that you have? What support can?" It might not even be her. She might refer you to someone that she knows, and of course, if Mrs. Ngozi refers you to something that, I mean, you can already imagine the. So that's how it works, right? And then I think lastly, is it lastly? Is the next slide after this? Takeaways. Fundraising is a tool, not the goal. You might get a grant today, but you need to keep the ball rolling, right? A grant is an enabler, not a fixer. If you get a grant, it's not really the end of your problems, right? That's why you always need to tell them what you use the money to do. So when the grant comes, you use it to do things that will move you to the next level. That's why you focus on things that will help you scale. So it's a tool, not the goal, right? And that's why you see that startups are always raising. Today is 12 million, tomorrow is $50K dollars, because they're always needing money for something, right? Then your story, your data will set you apart. Your story, most especially, because that's what separates you from the other startup. As we said earlier, you're not the only one in the industry. You're not the only one doing what you do. But how you tell your story will set you apart. And then data shows your value, story shows your vision. So you must always merge the two, whether it's in a pitch deck, in a grant, in a business plan or proposal, on the street when you're talking to somebody. You must merge data with story. Story first, then data, or data first. However it is, but they must merge because both show value and vision. And then, like we just said, build relationships before you need the money. I always have a funny scenario in my head where um they say you don't have a network until you are broke and you start scrolling on your contacts, but you don't know who to call. You're just scrolling. You have 5,000 contacts, but there's nobody you can ask because there's nobody you build relationships with. Now you need money, but there's nobody to call. So build relationships before you need the money. So I will pause here. I don't know if you have any questions. There are some resources that I've left behind. I think the admin will share to the community in their own time. So thank you very much for having me. Really sorry if I overstepped the time.
Oh, no, you did not. Thank you so much, love. That was a very wonderful presentation. Let me clap for you. Please, if you are in the comments, let's give our speaker a round of applause on YouTube, here on Zoom. If you are joining us on Zoom, I think we have one person here on Zoom. Okay, so yeah, you can see the claps and the love. And then on YouTube, please let's
Okay.
give our speaker a round of applause. She has done really awesome. Thank you so much for that presentation. That was really, really enlightening. And I've penned down some things, noted down, and I'm sure most of the people on the call as well have written something as well, and they are taking something home. So we're going to take questions now. So if you have your questions, please drop them in the chat so that we can see and ask our speaker. If you have any questions, please you can drop them in the chat. I would be checking to see, and then um yeah, so let me check, see if we have any questions on YouTube for you. Okay. Okay, there are no questions yet. If you have your questions, you can drop them on YouTube. If you have your questions on YouTube, this is the time to drop your questions, whatever they are. Our speaker is here to answer your questions. Okay, no questions yet. Frances, do you have any questions? Are you here with us? Okay. Okay, we don't have any questions yet. I don't know if they're still typing their questions, if they're still typing questions. Okay. Okay, so for now, there are no questions. But then, just as our speaker has said, she has dropped some resources with me. She dropped some wonderful templates as well for those who want to write their grants, pitch deck. She has dropped some templates and some resources. Thanks to her. God bless her for those templates. So you can always reach out to me if this is something that you want, and then I would send it to your email. So thank you to everyone who has been here from the start of this webinar to the end, and even for those who will be watching a replay of the webinar after now. It was such an enlightening session, writing a winning pitch deck, and then having access to grants and investments. We've learned a whole lot today that I believe anyone who is a tech startup and wants to, start something for themselves, or even just has an idea and they've just been thinking, where do I start from? Like, you already know where you are going to start from right now with this that we have. And then if you also want to have access to the slides, you can send me a message as well. You can send me a message. So yeah, you can send me a message and then I would, forward them to you. I'll forward them to you. So if you want to have access to those resources and then you want to have access to the slides, you can send me a message and I would forward them to your email. So it's been a very wonderful and exciting session. And I just want to say thank you so much, Law, for being a part of this for us and coming to share your wonderful, knowledge with the community. Our time is fast spent. Our time is fast spent, so would be rounding up right now. Thank you once again to everyone who has joined on Zoom. Thank you, Frances. Thank you, Nkechika. Thank you for joining us on Zoom. To our YouTube people, thank you for joining us on YouTube. To everyone who will be watching a replay, thank you also. So you can follow Love on LinkedIn, and her name on LinkedIn is also Love Imahe. So you can follow her on LinkedIn. Love, I don't know, are you on Instagram or
No, no, no. No, I'm not.
okay, okay. So you can follow her on LinkedIn. You can follow her on LinkedIn as Love Imahe. So we are you can follow us on Instagram at Shimej Tribe. You can follow us on LinkedIn as well, Shimej Tribe, and you can visit our website if you want to. If you'd like to join our community and be a part of what we are doing to, empower women, build them with the right tools, resources, information that they need to thrive in a tech career, you can join our community at www.shimechtribe.com. So you can join our community. That from there it will directly to the WhatsApp group, and you would be part of our community and see all the activities and all the wonderful things that we are doing over there. So it's been an awesome time tonight. And yeah, I'm so glad I was here in this session because I've learned a lot that I'm going to go and begin to put into practice. For the past few webinars we've been having, it's been awesome. Like we've been having awesome guests and they've been, giving us a lot of information, tools, and resources that we need to thrive as women in tech. So thank you so much once again, and we'll see you in our next webinar. Thank you, love. Thank you for being
Thank you for
here.
having me. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So we'll keep in touch and we hope to have you around sometime again.
Of course. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank
Thank
you
you.
too.
Good night.
All right. Good night. Thank you so much. So good night, everybody. Have a wonderful night rest.